remarks? I support.
Next chance will go to the MP for Bobasi, Honorable Innocent Momanyi. Is in the House. If not, it will go to the member for Nandi, Cynthia Muge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for according this opportunity to make a few comments to this legislative proposal that has been tabled on the floor of this House by the two honorable members, Honorable Gishimu and Honorable Mule. First, Honorable Speaker, I want to state that I support this particular motion, that this legislative proposal be fast-tracked for it to run into conclusion. Honorable Speaker, the four items that have been stated in this proposal are very important items for this country. Honorable Speaker, since I was in high school and in the university, of course in high school I did not need a CDF, but I was in the university, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that while this discussion was going on, I went back to my email. And in my email, Honorable Speaker, I was able to trace a CDF check that was mailed to me by the constituency office of Mgwen, that its patron was Honorable Alex Kosgei. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say thank you to him for having considered and given me bursary for me to be able to continue with my university studies. Honorable Speaker, I also remember that 3 months later, there was a serious discussion about the scrapping of CDF. And I remember, Honorable Speaker, I was a very active person in terms of writing and online. And I remember I actually vented vehemently in regards to scrapping of CDF. Of course, it was fueled by the fact that I was a recent beneficiary of the same fund. And Honorable Speaker, I remember saying so many things in regards to that CDF fund and wondering why someone would want such a fund that has been able to raise the schooling standards of the schools in this country. It was able to introduce even polytechnics that were not heard of in this country. And I was wondering, why would someone want a very good number of students that were benefiting or that depended on the CDF to go to college and to go to secondary school removed, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, I support this particular amendment or legislative proposal, Honorable Speaker, because it will be able to ensure that every beneficiary, because the beneficiaries of these funds, Honorable Speaker, are people who are truly needy. These are people who come from humble backgrounds that cannot sustain their schooling. These are people that come from humble backgrounds that cannot afford them to take their children to private schools, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I support it because when it is in the Constitution, entrenched in the Constitution, it will reduce the number of busybodies, Honorable Speaker, who want to scrap it at their own will because they do not know the importance of the same, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to also speak to the issue of NGAF. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank my predecessor. Through NGAF, Honorable Speaker, as we speak, Nandi County now has a building, a structure that is supposed to be able to accommodate people rehabilitation, to rehabilitate people who have been jailed by drugs, alcohol, people who have mental issues. That county, courtesy of NGAF, is going to have that facility, Honorable Speaker. It is a facility that is going to help many people who would have otherwise not been able to pay for those services anywhere else, Honorable Speaker. And this is not a small matter, Honorable Speaker, to the people who need it. This is also a fund that has ensured that every village, of course, I can imagine that I have seen it in many counties, patroned by the woman reps, Honorable Speaker. Many counties have tents that under other circumstances, you would not find them. And if you would find them, they would be so expensive and people would opt to do their meetings under the trees. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I support this, and I will be happy if these particular funds are able to run without undue interruptions, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, just like the Honorable Member for Kitui's Rural said, he spoke to the issue of the amounts of percentages that have been allocated. Honorable Speaker, I will not speak to that matter much because they say a bird in hand is better than two in the bush. I will not speak to it, Honorable Speaker, because it is only, it only tells us that we are going to have better terms in the future and we are going to have better amounts in the future, Honorable Speaker. And I hope, Honorable Speaker, that pending the ruling of the Speaker in regards to whether this bill will be subject to amendment during the second reading, Honorable Speaker. I hope that we can be able to increase these funds because, Honorable Speaker, this country, during the devolution, it was actually championing for decentralization. Decentralization of responsibilities of functions, Honorable Speaker, must be followed by decentralization of funds. So, Honorable Speaker, there's no harm if you give 10% to CDF for it to go to the ground because you are so sure that this is a fund that is going to benefit to the last person in the administrative unit, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, then it will have no harm when the GAV fund is also given a 4%, Honorable Speaker. It will also be able to help the woman county representatives, Honorable Speaker, to be able to run empowerment programs, because this is the same office, Honorable Speaker, that is tasked with ensuring that it is looking into the issues of the vulnerable groups, the women, Honorable Speaker, the person living with disabilities, Honorable Speaker, the youth, Honorable Speaker. And we are saying when the women of this country are educated, every other person is safe. When the youth of this country are catered for, they have jobs, they have things to do, every other person will be fine and the economy will be doing better. So, Honorable Speaker, there will be no harm in that, but that said, Honorable Speaker, we look forward to having the amounts increased so that those activities take place in the, further down the administrative unit, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I support this particular motion. And I want to say that I also support the Economic Stimulus and Empowerment Fund. Of course, Honorable Speaker, I look forward to the regulations that will be able to govern and lead these particular funds so that we have things happening on the ground. I remember, Honorable Speaker, in my county where I come from, in a constituency called Tindred, there is a very nice market that was built by the Economic Stimulus Program that was run by His Excellency, the President Kibaki. In 2003, around 2003 and 4 and 5. It is working, Honorable Speaker, and you can see the importance of having had that economic stimulus program. So I'm hoping, Honorable Speaker, because every economic stimulus program, Honorable Speaker, is actually something that's supposed to elicit some sort of economic response from the private sector, hoping that this will ensure that we have more economic investment from the private sector, and that together, Honorable Speaker, with whatever government is able to do, we are going to have a better country with better revenue. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say I support, and I want to urge all the members of this Assembly, Honorable Speaker, to be able to support this, and not just support this, Honorable Speaker. This bill, especially being a constitutional amendment, is no joke. It's something that has a very high threshold, a threshold that must be met for us to be able to move forward. And, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge all the honorable members that we all take part in the process, the whole process, so that we have something that reflects on the aspirations that we have and actually protect our people on the ground that we represent, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people that I represent, I support this because these are funds that are felt by the people on the ground directly. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to speak. I would have made my maiden speech, but I already did, Honorable Speaker. So I'm almost left for words to say thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Member for Nandi. This chance will go to the member for Ganze, Honorable Charo Kazungu. If he's not in the House, the chance will go to the member of Limuru, Honorable John Kirago.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.